Okay, before I start today, I just want to share some of my stupid philosophies, right? Um, as much as fear, no, what am I saying? As much as pain seems like is the biggest source of fear, in my understanding or in my world of observations, I believe that embarrassment is the main source of fear. Um, well, pain, yeah, but how many times do we see people fight lately? Like whereby, oh, well, maybe when you are young and you've done something wrong and you know you're gonna get a whooping, yeah, that could attract fear. But when you are older, you get to be fearful of embarrassment situations. The whole concept of abantu bazotini syndrome, right? You could be in a hall and there's some presentation going on and there's a group of people and you wanna ask a question which you wanna ask, but that fear of ish, what are they gonna da 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 da, of which now that's when I give my students freedom that whenever we are interacting on our meetings like this, they have all the rights to be wrong because I don't want to create that fear of wanting to try to attempt something. But now, yes, you must not let your fear stop you from doing things or don't worry about embarrassment in the face of the world. But sometimes you are allowed to be embarrassed personally, internally. You are allowed to observe an embarrassing situation. At this point, one of the biggest embarrassing things that I want to say, if you're a grade 9 student, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, and right now you don't know how to differentiate between a positive slope and a negative slope of a straight line, you should be embarrassed. Trust me, that's embarrassing. I'm not being harsh because, like I say, in our meeting, everyone has all the rights to be wrong. And I don't want them to be embarrassed about it. And I make sure they don't feel embarrassed about it. But we should be embarrassed because now, sometimes, what if a grade 5 asks you something to help you because they are your younger brother or younger sister and you claim to be, I'm just saying, man, some things are embarrassing, but well, while you embarrass like that, let's fix it such that from now onwards going forward, you're not worried about such stuff. Well, not that I'm going to teach the negative slope and a positive slope of a straight line, but before I present today's question, actually, let me present the question first, and then I'll talk about the slopes later. So here's our question for today. As usual, let me put it there. So we are doing question 8. In the diagram below, f of x is equals to 12 over x for x greater than 0. At this point, I expect everyone to identify the function as it is a hyperbola. And we know that that function, if we never cared about an interval, if we never cared about that part where they say for x greater than 0, it was gonna show a curve on the positive side and a curve on the negative side, the way a hyperbola is supposed to be. But long story short, for now, we're only focusing on the positive part because they are saying for only x greater than 0. I hope by now everyone understands because we are doing this at the moment while preparing for the exams, right? G is the x-axis of the symmetry of F. B is the point where F intersects G. We can see point B there where F intersects G. H is a tangent to F at C. That's the most biggest punchline of the statement of what we are having so far, because there's something to tell with a tangent to a curve. There's some beautiful theory which we might even apply at some point. A, we can see point A is the y-axis of H. So far there, I see two straight lines. I see G and I see H. But as we go, everything's going to answer. So number A, before I even go to number B, I'm requested to write down the equation of G. They're not saying I must calculate or determine. They're just saying I must write down, meaning it's something which I should just go ahead and do it. It's probably 1 mark. So let me show you something. So because I'm a good person, I'll quickly give you some lessons, right? A straight line is represented by y is equals to mx plus c skeletally, or we can even say this is f of x is equals to mx plus c if we want to use y or want to use f as a notation. For cases where you have y is equals to mx plus c, and the gradient is positive. If the gradient is positive, if m is positive, we're going to have a positive slope. Ideally, your slope should be like this if it's positive. This is a positive slope in a perfect world. So for a positive line, we expect to have results like this. For a case where y is a negative slope, you're going to have minus mx plus c. And for a negative slope, we expect, now, by the way, this is your y-axis, this is your x-axis. Also here, I would say this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. For a negative slope, if m is negative and you have a straight line situation, we expect the graph to be like this. This is how the line should be. So what I'm saying is you should be embarrassed if you don't understand this. Don't be embarrassed anymore because now you understand. So for a positive slope, you're going to have this. For a negative slope, you're going to have this. Now let's answer question A. We have to determine the equation of G. And on that line, we can see that G passes through the center. And if G passes through the center, we can see that the line is like this. G passes through the center, 0 and 0. The line is like this, meaning the x-intercept is going to be 0 and the y-intercept is going to be 0 and the slope is going to be 1. Therefore, to answer number A, we then say y is equals to x, because x-intercept is 0, y-intercept is 0, and the slope is just going to be given in the standard form as 1 there. This means that for interest's sake, I just want you to know that if the graph was like this, if it was a negative slope and the line was going like this, that's when, to stop you from being embarrassed, not understanding the slopes, you would have said this the same as y is equals to minus x, because the slope is then negative in this case. But otherwise, for number A, this is how we answer number A. So straightforward with number A, we just had to write down the equation, right? And then number B, we are required to determine the coordinates of B. B is the interaction of F and G. Remember, B is the interaction of F and G. Again, it shouldn't be that deep. Look at it like this. At this point, because the equation of G is y is equals to x, I can represent it that G of x is equals to x. And I already know that f of x is equals to 12 over x. And I have to determine the coordinates of B, whereby B is the interaction of G and F. So I can just say, I'm allowed to just say f of x is equals to G of x, right? Whereby I'll have x to be equals to 12 over x. Now, trust me, solving for x is nothing. Therefore, anything is over 1. If anything is over 1, because I don't trust everyone always understand the algebra, I have to show that when I cross multiply, I'm multiplying this by this and multiplying that by that, because I don't want people to be embarrassed for not understanding small things. Then we're going to say x times x is x squared is equals to 1 times 12, it's 12. But then now I have to solve for x. That means I can get the square root of this. By putting a square root, I will get the values of what I need to get. Therefore, x is going to be plus or minus square root of 12, right? X is going to be plus or minus square root of 12. But as much as x is equals to plus or minus square root of 12, I choose the x value to be positive square root of 12, because we are solving for the f of x function. We are looking for, it was for x being positive. So because it was for x being positive, I don't care about the negative one. I take the positive one. So if x is equals to square root of 12, what would be y? To get the value of y, I just have to get g of square root of 12. So g of square root of 12 is also equal to square root of 12, because g of x equals to x. So g of square root of 12 is also square root of 12, which means the coordinates of B is root 12 and root 12. Because they said I must leave it in Z form, there's no need to find the perfect square root of square root of 12. I can just leave it like that. That's number B. So to be honest, guys, at least number C, you don't have to be embarrassed if you feel like number C is challenging, because number C is the main reason why I decided to do this paper, because it's something which I think we must look into it. So if you look at number C, we were required to determine the area of ACO, the area of ACO, if h of x is given to be minus 1 over 3x plus c. Not to complicate things, let's discuss everything, because I've already constructed, for us to get the area of ACO, I had to construct CO from what was given there. So that is my construction there. That is my construction there. Somehow, we are given that h of x is equals to minus 1 over 3x plus c, meaning we're still going to need to get the value of c for h of x. But we know that f of x is equals to 12 over x. Now, remember that piece of information that I said it was important when they said h is a tangent to f at c. That's very important, because what that means, it means that at that point, if h is a tangent to f at c, at that point, we are 100% sure that f prime x is equals to h of x. F prime x is equals to h of x, and that can help me get the point of x and y. Why do I need the point of x and y? Because for me to get the area of triangle ACO, I'm gonna need to know the values from here to there, which would be now the coordinates of A, and the values of x here, because I need to determine which is the x-intercept here, would give me the value that I need here, which can help me determine this. Because we know that, so like I'm saying, to get the area of triangle ACO, we know that the area of a triangle ACO is going to be half the height multiplied by probably the width. So we're gonna need this length here, and we're gonna need also this one for us to get the triangle of ACO. But we can get that from that by getting the coordinates of C and the coordinates of A. So to get the coordinates of C, this is how we go about. Okay, I'll come back here now. This is gonna be our end product. So now f prime x is the same as, because f of x is equal to 12 over x, this means that I can write f of x as 12x to the exponent 1, right? Which gonna make x prime x to be minus 12 into x minus 1. This means that f prime x will be minus 12. No. It's gonna be x minus 2, because it's minus 1 minus 1. So therefore, that's gonna be x equals to minus 12 over x squared. That means f prime x, in this case, f prime x, let me just do that there. That means f prime x in this case will be minus 12 over x squared is equals to, what is going to be my h prime x? Look at this. If h of x is equals to minus 1 over 3x plus c is a constant already. This means that h prime x is just going to be minus 1 over 3. I hope everyone understands. If you don't understand, pause this video and try to prove what is the differential of h of x. But otherwise, come on, man, h of x, which is the differential, represent the slope, which is the gradient, which is m. So if h of x is equals to minus 1 over 3x plus c, clearly m is minus 1 over 3, which makes the gradient, which is the differential, to be minus 1 over 3. This is what it is. So we have to solve for x here. Again, I'm going to cross multiply. If I cross multiply, I will get minus 36 is equals to minus x, which minus x squared, which makes x squared to be equals to positive 36 if I divide by negative both sides. And the square root of this, I get x to be plus or minus 6, right? So meaning the x value for this one, the X value is going to be 6, which means from here to here, I know it's 6 units. So it's 6. Otherwise, because I'm looking at plus or minus 6, I'm taking positive because we are looking at f of x for x being positive, because that's what was given from the question. Because x is equals to plus or minus 6, which makes my x to be 6, I would say the y value there, it's going to be f of 6. And f of 6 will be 12 over 6, which is just going to be 2. That means here it could have been 2. So meaning the coordinates of C, it's 6 and 2. I'm happy with that. So now I know that from the triangle of ACO, I already have the height, which is 6. Now I need to find the coordinates of A for me to determine what is the height, like what is the length from 0 to A. I need to get that. And to get that, because A is the x-intercept of h of x, I just need to find the value of C. By finding the value of C, I would have determined the unit of length from 0 to there, because I would know that. So now this is what I'm going to do. I have h of x is equals to minus 1 over 3x plus c. To get the values of c, I can substitute for x and y, because, never mind c as I see it here. This one is just the c, which is the coordinates of this. This c is just the y-intercept for A. So this one, I'm not looking for the intercept. This one, I'm not looking for the coordinates. This C has coordinates C and 2. But the C that they gave us on the question represent the value of the y-axis here, just like a straight line has a value of C like that. So to get this value of C, I'm going to substitute by the coordinates that I have here. It's unfortunate that coincidentally we have C here and we have C here, but they don't mean the same thing. So I will substitute. It will be 2 is equals to 1 over 3, which is negative, into 6 plus C. And then 6 divided minus 1 over 3 times 6. This is going to be 2 is equals to minus, it goes twice here, plus C, which makes the value of C to be 4 if I take this to the other side. That means the coordinates, that means that the coordinates of A, that means now the coordinates of A is 0 and 4, because from here to here is 4 units, which now brings us to our punchline of the question. Therefore, the triangle of ACO is going to be half times the height, which is 6 units, times the breadth, which is 4 units. Therefore, our area for C is going to be how many? 12 units. So that's the area for ACO, which, like I say, is the punchline of the question. There are times where I explain something and I feel like, yeah, this one, it looks like it's a challenge. But what I like about videos like this is you can always pause, go back, repeat, try it yourself, pause, do this and that, if you're really willing to learn. So with that being said, I would say for namuntlha guys, right? Please do subscribe to all our social media platforms. Follow us on YouTube, or subscribe to our YouTube channel rather, and follow us everywhere. I would say TikTok is more important because we go live every now and then. Also, you can access our content from Spotify if you are interested in podcasting and stuff. At the end of the day, we'll always be here to simplify everything for you. I'm done.